Hey creative souls, how are you? Thanks for tuning in. I'm happy that you're here. My name is Johnny. I am a published fiction writer and a retired adjunct writing professor. For 2 decades, I help college students get their words on the page. Now I teach fiction writing and screenwriting to adults in custody. And I also have a newish membership group that I want to mention to you before I get into this conversation about this new moon that's coming up and how it will benefit your writing or how you can use it to benefit your writing. But I want to tell you about Alchemy of Writing, my membership group, for a few reasons. So I started this just a few months ago and I've been very quiet about it and not really doing a lot of promo about it, but I plan to change that in June. So I think it will start filling up a bit more. I want to mention it right now because as of July 1st, the price is going up. It's now $18 a month for meeting 1 evening a week on Wednesday evenings to write in absolute silence. Usually at the beginning, I say a quick hello and then I send us off on our way and we're all muted and oftentimes, almost always off camera. So it's not invasive at all. And I created it with intuitives and introverts and HSPs and neurodivergence in mind because we need something a little different that a lot of standard writing groups don't give us. So, all of us need, like scientifically, it's been proven that we need community for our well-being. But all the talking can just be way too much for many of us. And so if you're like me, you spend a lot of time in solitude. And I live with a kitty, Iris, who I've talked about before, and she's my buddy, and that it's just me and her. And I have a few people in my life that I see once in a while, but I'm not a big socializer, and I need quiet calm in my life. My nervous system needs that. And I started noticing that a lot of people that I've worked with over the years are built, wired the same way that I am. And so I wanted to create this group. And I got it started, and like I said, it's been kind of quiet, the marketing around it anyway. I have a few people signed up for it. Some are showing up, some are not, so I'm going to work on that. And I just kind of wanted to give it life and breath and get it out there and then figure out how I want to grow it. And so if you join for sometime in the month of June, if you join before July 1st, you get the founding member price of $18 a month. If you want to meet us 2 times a week, so Wednesday evening, Saturday morning, then it's $28 a month. As of July 1st, the price is going up. In June, I'm adding a couple of new features. But if you get on now, you maintain the founding member price for the length of the lifetime of your membership. So it's a deal. It's a real deal. I'm only going to keep adding to it, so the goodness will just keep coming. All right? And one other thing I want to make sure I mention is I know I've been threatening to get the Alchemy of Writing course finished, and that is going to happen in the near future. I swear. It will, of course, be available to all members at a discounted price if you want to partake. All right, so that is that. I'll put a link in the description about Alchemy of Writing so you can learn more about it and register if you want to, and I'd really love to see you there. All right, so here we go with the new moon in Gemini this Thursday, June 6th, and how it can benefit your writing practice. Before we get to the new moon though, let's talk about some other aspects that are happening this week that are impacting the new moon energy as well, and how they all kind of come together in a super cool way that I'm excited about. There's a ton of info, so I'm gonna maybe talk fast and I'll do my best when I edit to pare this down so it just won't go on and on, but it's really cool, I think anyway, how these energies are kind of weaving in together and creating this really lovely environment for us to write in over the next 2 weeks. And so just as a citation, any astrological aspect that I mention in this video, I got from Nadia Shah, who's fabulous astrologer, in my opinion. I follow her frequently. She's here on YouTube if you want to follow her. Okay, so for this week, this is the week of June 2nd, starting June 2nd on Sunday. This is the first full week of Jupiter in Gemini. And then there's also this rare trine that's happening between Jupiter and Pluto. So this means that they are operating together on really high kind of in sync harmony, in support of us and what we want to do and accomplish. If you don't know this, whatever Pluto touches, it adds an intensity to it. All right, so it's trining Jupiter, which is all about optimism. So right now, we ought to be feeling this like really kind of massive, if not over the top optimism about certain aspects of our lives. And when we think about this in terms of writing practice, a really, really cool thing is that Pluto and Jupiter, they are both in air signs. Okay, so when we think about air signs, it's all about the mind, it's mentality. So think about your creative mind. And really, during these next 2 weeks, let your creative mind do what it needs and wants to do. Really honor what it brings to you. Don't resist. Sometimes we can get tunnel vision about what we want to make happen with a project or a story or a character. But just for 2 weeks, let yourself be open to hearing something new or something new coming to you that you might need to try or do. So this might come in the form of being blessed with another new idea, and you might feel like, oh no, I can't start something new. I certainly feel that way. If you have a mind like mine, you have a number of different projects going in different stages. Some of them sit forever, untouched while you work on others, then you go back. I've tried to work in other ways and my brain just won't let me. And maybe I can train it to do something else at some point in my life. I don't know, but I'm getting a little up there, but I guess it's always possible, right? I don't know though if I can deeply affect my brain wiring. And I'm really learning recently what that's all about. So it is what it is. If you get a new idea and you cannot stand the thought of starting something new, write it down at least and give it a context. Like, you know that feeling when you wake up from a dream and it just has this message that you know you can't let go of, and it's just so embedded in you, you can feel it and sense it. And then as soon as you're fully waking up and moving around, it's gone. Well, that's what new ideas during this time could do. So don't let that happen to them, because if they land on you, they're telling you you're the person that is supposed to create this and send this message. All right? So write it down, give it some context, and try to capture all that goodness that's around it, like the metaphor of it, the essence of it, what it says to you in that moment. Okay, so the air signs that are involved are Aquarius, that's what Pluto is in, and then Gemini, which is what Jupiter is in. So get this aspect of Pluto in Aquarius is going to last for 2 decades, all right? So I'm excited about it. I have been struggling with some things, and I'm really wanting to and needing to turn a corner. And when I'm able to do that, it will positively impact my writing practice without a doubt. So I'm excited. I feel like, okay, I have 2 decades in front of me. I think I'll still be around then. And so I really, really just want to grab it by the ovaries and just do it, you know? Here's another little trivia about this current configuration. It has been 12 years since Jupiter was in Gemini. So think 12 years ago, that's when my life started kind of going to shit. And it's not been easy. I definitely had some bright moments in the last 12 years, but it has been a freaking struggle, and I'm over it. I'm so over it. If you think back to how things might have changed for you 12 years ago, just know that we can maybe take a deep breath and start to see something new and exciting. And in terms of Pluto in Aquarius, guess how long it's been? Take a wild guess. 250 years. None of us was even here then. So I am super excited to see what this is going to bring. So what does this all translate to for us as writers? Well, this can mean big blessings through social events. This is reminding me of something. I just posted a video about an event that I just organized and emceed over the weekend. And it's so in line with this astrology, it kind of blows my mind. So I won't go into it here, but go watch that video. I'll put the link up above. Watch that video and hear about what I did. And it was just, so soul-filling and healing and affirming. And I'm still on a high from it. It's going to last me a long time. So big blessings through social events, through what we hear and say, through connections with others. And this could be new people or people we already know. And there should be a kind of momentum behind all of this. So when we apply this to writing and our writing lives, how can we interpret this? Think about it this way. Are there readings in your area that you could attend? Who knows who you might meet? another writer that you really click with, because how often does that happen? Not very often for me, although I don't click with that many people, so, there's that. But you may meet someone there who could be instrumental in helping you get something published, or somebody you click with who may say, oh, my agent may like that novel that you've written. Do you have an event that's coming up? The stars are saying it could be really beneficial to you if you do. Are there writing conferences that you've been thinking about going to and have been putting it off? Maybe now's the time to get that in place. And especially if you have one already lined up during this time, should be primo. And think about other events that you may have been kind of thinking about going to, or maybe you have plans to go to. It all informs and impacts our writing, right? So it doesn't have to be a literary event. It can be anything like, and this is not during these next 2 weeks, but I just signed up. There's a blues fest that happens along the river in my city, and I used to go every year, and then the pandemic happened, and I just kind of lost my, verve for pretty much everything. And but it's coming back, and I was cranky for a while that the prices had gone up so much for tickets, but the other day I just said, screw it, I'm going. And so I got those, and it's those kinds of events where people are just kind of free and easy and having a good time. We don't know who we might meet at those that could be beneficial to our lives, our writing practices. So I really encourage you to do some of those. Even if you go by yourself, I'm a big fan of going to things by myself. I love doing that. And I think, honestly, when we go places like traveling by ourselves also, it just frees us up to experience things in a whole different way than if we're there with a friend or a partner and planning with them. And it really kind of limits, I think, it's been my experience anyway, who we meet and the things that we might have come our way that we can experience. One thing Nadia says is that this is a time when just randomly running into someone ends up being just what we need, whether in our personal lives or our professional lives. So people right now can be a key part in bringing those blessings to us over these next 2 weeks. So just really stay open to people, situations, and inspiration that might come in some form that you have not even had on your radar. Just really be open to that. Of course, protect yourself. We sensitives, we need to have a kind of protection, but hopefully you have found a way to be open and protect yourself simultaneously. It's tricky, but we need to do that. In addition to maybe meeting someone who could hook you up with their agent, or meeting someone who's looking for a novel just like the one you've written, you could also meet someone during this time that unwittingly says something to you that triggers an answer to a problem that you've been struggling with. Maybe you'll learn about a new writing group that's a perfect fit for you, because it has to be a perfect fit, right? We don't want to join a group just to join a group and have it be a bad fit, because that can squelch our writing. It can make us not want to share. Writing group just to have a writing group is not a good thing. It feels like the feeling I get, the sense I get, is that the possibilities are virtually endless right now. So really capitalize on that, like really be open. I would even say call in what it is you want and believe it, really believe it. I'm going to talk about faith a little bit further down. So to compound all of this in a really positive way is Mercury, which is all about the mind. So all of this really intense positive energy with Mercury also in the mix can produce results really quickly and make it all that much more deeply felt. So I hope this is true for all of us. I mean, I say yes, please. Let it be me. Because like I said, these past 12 years, I can't really say they've sucked, but in large part they have. I mean, in a lot of ways. And I'm not trying to be a downer, but it's just a fact. I think we all go through long, drawn-out patches in life where life is just a freaking uphill battle. And I'm kind of over it. I would like to see this happen for me sooner than later, to be honest. I'm kind of over certain stories in my life that have just been like a broken record. I'm ready for something new and different. It's time. So just take a minute throughout the next 2 weeks and notice where lightness and ease are showing up in your life. What happened easily? For me, one recent thing was this event that I mentioned. It just came together and it was beautiful and amazing, and I'm just embracing it because it made me so happy. really think about where this ease is showing up. It could be anywhere. It could be in conversations you have. It could be in your writing. Maybe things are just going to flow super easily and you're going to get words on the page. And may this ease show up and last. Like, may it wear grooves in our brains so that we can move forward with ease for a good long time. As Nadia says, the best way to approach this energy is to just relax and make the most of it, rather than trying to force something or carry expectations about outcomes. She also says this time will bring truth of the power of the moment. So think about this. Think about if you are pitching your work to an agent or to publishers. Think about if you're submitting your work to magazines or journals. What truth might come of that? With this ease that's happening, may you be accepted. May you get a bunch of yeses. She also says that these connections during this time might be within us and might have nothing to do with another person. So for those of us who write, this could be very advantageous, right? To our processes, to our productivity. So just let your ideas become real. Take what comes to you and get it on the page. Because right now it's only for you. And just the ability to take action and move things and capitalize on, inspiration that comes in strange packages is very palpable right now. Really embrace that and see what shows up for you. She also says that pathways that we didn't even know were available to us might open up. Maybe there's a new publication and they're hungrily looking for work, and what you write is perfectly suited to what they do. Maybe a friend of a friend is coming to visit and they know someone who knows someone, and they can hook you up and start a conversation about getting your novel published. So the best thing right now is to get your butt in the chair and write. And pay attention and stay focused when you're out in the world. Pay attention, be open, let things land on you. Mercury is also about the media, so who knows what might come into your life around your writing and your practice and your work. I say right now, think big and think wild and take action. That's the key. She also says we should expect to see some truths come out, and so that always feels a little scary to me. It's like, oh God, what else don't I know? I've been through enough of hidden truths, hopping out of the closet and upending my life. But these are the kind of truths that can engender transformation. And so I'm always up for that. Even though I'm a little burned, I'm always like, sure, tell me some more truths and let me transform some more. So could this for you have something to do with a project you're working on, something you've been stuck on? Is there some truth about your writing practice, you as a writer, or a project that you've maybe been turning away from? And if you let it through right now, could change things for you in a big way? Could it be that a character finally comes out and shows you something that you've just been missing? Or something that will impact your ability to write? I'm not talking skill level, I'm talking life level, schedule level. So is there something in your life that you maybe have been resisting and not wanting to face or know because you know it will create a change and you're not ready, or you haven't been ready to let go or sacrifice whatever it is you need to let go of? Well, the planets say that over the next 2 weeks, you may have a change of heart about that. And if you do, I say go for it. This is also a time to have difficult conversations. So these could be with another person. These could be with ourselves. It could be with our characters. Could be with our agent if we have an agent. Maybe you have an agent that's just not doing it for you and you need to let them go. Or maybe not let them go, but just let them know why the arrangement is not working for you. Maybe you have an editor you need to have the same conversation with, or a writing coach. Or maybe it's your household setup and you need to have a difficult conversation with someone and let them know how the way we do this, this, and this prevents me from writing, and we need to change that so that I can be happy and fulfilled because I deserve that, right? It could be, is it time for you to get really real with yourself about who you are as a writer, whether you are a writer? Have you been telling yourself, oh, I want to write, but I'm not a writer? Now's the time to get over that and see yourself as a writer instead of just talking about it or dreaming about the novel you want to write. Are you a writer or aren't you? It's that simple. You get to decide. And as you probably know, and I don't want to sound bitchy about this, but I don't count journaling as writing. Yes, you're putting words on the page, but to me, journaling is a brain dump of our emotional experience, and that's not what writing is. Writing is rewriting and putting that mass of feelings and thoughts and experiences into a cohesive form so that it can be consumed by other people, right? To me, that's the difference. So are you a writer or are you not? You know deep inside if you are, and even if you've been putting it off and you're still compelled to want to write, then you're a writer. So just do it. Okay, so there's one wrinkle with this, all this fabulous, of course, there's always a wrinkle, all this fabulous, optimistic, intense energy. Saturn has to show up. And every time I see Saturn, I say, oh shit. I'm sorry, Saturn. Saturn's not all that bad. I just always think of the Saturn return and how both of mine knocked me on my ass big time. Second one, not so much, but yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I'm hoping I'm around for a third one, so we shall see. Saturn is going to be squaring the new moon. So it could mean that these truths that I was mentioning, that Nadia spoke about, could mean that it's difficult to get these truths out because maybe they feel very loaded or there's something really big attached to them. And it doesn't have to be drastic, but it could be. So here's an example. And I don't know that I'm not suggesting this was the same planetary configuration when this thing happened I'm going to tell you about, but I made a feature film several years ago and it had a few public screenings, and no, it's not out in the world where you can see it because it had audio issues and got stuck in post, and it's been sitting there. It is online. I may share it freely someday, but for right now I'm not, just because I'm not sure if I want to hire someone to reshoot it or if I just want to sell the script, and so I'm kind of waiting. But anyway, one of these screenings, I discovered that it was shown in another town. I shot it in a town that I don't live in now. So we had two screenings in that town where it was shot. I didn't know this until after the second screening. There was a woman there who was at the first one, and she said that she wanted to talk to me afterwards, but she couldn't because she had to go sit in her car and bawl for 30 minutes. So she came to the second screening and then talked to me and told me about her experience with the first time and how just deeply it hit her. And then a few weeks later, she wrote to me and said she just realized after seeing it a second time that despite the fact that she loved her partner and he was a great person, she just couldn't live with him anymore and live the creative life that she wanted. So she didn't really end the relationship. She just let him know this needs to look different. So it could be something as big as that, or it could be something small. Like I mentioned earlier, that we request of someone that we live with that, I need to see this done differently so that I can honor my creative impulse to write. All right, if that's not enough, then Chiron is also involved in the mix. And if you don't know, Chiron is the healer. We think of Chiron as the wounded healer. And so this just, to me, I'm so excited because it feels like this very optimistic kind of free, open time that we have that could have some heavy moments, but all for the good, it feels to me. This is another thing that's very cool for us writers right now. Nadia says that putting things into words is where our most powerful healing can occur. All right? So if nothing else resonates with you from this video, I hope that does. Putting things into words right now is where our most powerful healing can occur. So write your butts off. I'm going to. I am. I'm excited about this. So again, this ties into that event that I did over the weekend, and I just feel so much goodness around me right now. And I hope it's radiating through the screen at you, and I hope you can feel it in your own life. Nadia also says that if we find it difficult in this time, in this period, to say difficult things that need to be said, we really need to embrace this opportunity and do it. But she says to really take care in the way we do it and think about why we're doing it. So do we want to use our words, whether spoken or in writing, to hurt someone? Or do we want to say them or write them to create some kind of positive change? This is also a time when information might come to us through synchronicity. So, you're thinking about someone, then they call you and you pick up, say, hey, I was just thinking about you. And they say, hey, XYZ. And this helps you to do that thing that you've been dreaming of doing. Look for symbols in your day-to-day life. I'm a big fan of looking for symbols. There are universal symbols that the collective unconscious has deemed kind of the same meaning for all of us. And then there are meanings that each of us attaches to different things. So really be open, be uber open right now to noticing and witnessing what's around you and what's coming to you in the form of words from others, in others' writings, in just random conversations, and see how you can utilize that to enhance your writing life. So the nice thing though is on Tuesday of this week, June 4th, I believe is Tuesday, Venus sidles up to the sun, and so can really kind of temper and calm down any tension that Saturn might be bringing. And what this does, it allows us to kind of see through the eyes of love and perceive the world through a lens of love. That can not only come in handy with those difficult things, conversations, words we need to share with others, and this could be totally in written form, but if we do it through the eyes of love and through the perception of love, they'll have so much more power, right? And then by next weekend, when Venus squares Saturn, sort of the consequences from these hard truths that we have learned or been gifted or shared with others, then by the weekend, Venus will square Saturn. So what that will do is sort of bring to the surface the consequences of the hard truths that came about. And consequences don't need to be bad things, right? They might be trying, but they don't have to be. So really ask yourself this. Ask yourself these questions about your writing life and your writing. What needs to change? Think specifically about your writing. What needs to change? What do you need to say goodbye to? What isn't working? What's worth letting go of or sacrificing so that you can get what you want? And Nadia says, she suggests thinking about this in terms of money, pleasure, and time. Are you doing things for pleasure, like playing games on your phone? That's me. When you could be doing other more productive things. And I'll say it's become so second nature to me that I notice myself doing it and I didn't even make the conscious decision to pick the phone up. So I'm really working on breaking this habit. As soon as I see myself doing it, I put the phone down and get back to what I'm doing. And it's helping. My screen time has gone down, taking this approach. So that's one thing I need to let go of. Not completely, but I just can't be doing it. It's like when I used to be a smoker and I would just, unconsciously pick up a cigarette and light it up. That's what my phone is. Games on my phone are to me right now. It's smoking. It interferes with other things I care about. So what is it for you? What in terms of money, pleasure, and time are taking away from the things that you desire? Is it time to cut your losses with something and say bye-bye? Or is it time to be patient? Only you know that, right? But the cool thing about squares is that it means something is actually happening. Okay, it's not just some vague, scary monster hanging around in the shadows. It means something's actually changing and happening. And this could come about from our own frustration. Like I think I mentioned earlier that I'm so over certain stories from my life. I'm just done. They're boring even to me. So I'm ready to change them. I'm ready to see some change. It could also be something that you purposefully decide you're going to change. We should feel a lot of energy, like things are happening, things are changing right now. For myself, like I said earlier, I am wanting some change, and with Mercury in the mix, I'm hoping it's swift and hope it doesn't hurt too much. But I'm just ready for things to look a whole lot different. But here's the good thing about Saturn, okay? Like I said, I always kind of go, oh no, when I hear it. But the thing is, the way Nadia puts it, I was going to try and figure out how to say it myself, but the way she puts it is that without Saturn, all we have is a dream and hope. Saturn makes it real. Saturn compels us to get real with our faith. And I'm not talking religious faith. I mean, it could be that, but I'm talking about faith in ourselves as writers. What is your level of faith in yourself as a writer? Do you believe in yourself? I sure hope so, because you deserve that. You deserve to believe in yourself. Because honestly, if we don't have faith in ourselves, who's going to? We have to have as much faith in ourselves as we do in others that we love and care about in our lives. I think a lot of us forget that sometimes. We have to have faith in our ability to write and to get our work out into the world. Okay, so keep this in mind. This is really important. If we don't take action when Saturn is this present, it can turn inward and become depression. We don't want that. We want to keep things moving. Keep that flow. Remember my writing through the body method, the chakras? Keep that flow going so that depression can't settle in on us. And Saturn wants us to do things, make things happen, get going. And it doesn't have to feel this like charged, grind, frenzied kind of action. It can be slow, purposeful action, but just keep moving forward. What will this look like for you? Will it mean that you will be more frequently submitting your work? Will it mean that you are writing more consistently? Will it mean that you're creating methods to keep yourself on track if you have a brain like I have and you're easily sidetracked? Will you be creating more methods to keep you honest and true to yourself? Think also about the tension that Saturn can create. And this doesn't have to be bad tension. Think of it in terms of focus and intention. You may feel a tension to pick up your phone and play a game, but my intention says, no, I'm supposed to be writing now, and so I put it down. That kind of tension could be what we're facing. It could be the kind of tension that keeps us honest to ourselves. Really embrace this time as a time that ideas could come out, ideas that could change the world. I think we need that right now. We need that big time. And remember, they could be random. You could be out walking around. It could be just like a leaf falling down on top of you, grazing the surface of your hair and landing on the sidewalk as you pass. It could be a comment like that that you hear in passing that resonates something inside you and creates some kind of change in your writing life. So really get comfortable with ideas coming out of nowhere over the next 2 weeks. And these deeper meanings that come when we're not expecting them really do hold the power to change both our individual and our collective worlds. And I think that's pretty exciting. That's why I write, and that's why I love to help others write. All right, so that was a long one. That's a lot, but I didn't want to leave any of it out because it's also intertwined. So there you have the new moon in Gemini for the next 2 weeks and all the other stuff that's happening around it. Super good, super cool. As always, I send you mad writing mojo. Happy writing.